Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. I hope all of you have read this book or heard about it. This was a book that I wrote a few months ago, and it was released, as a matter of fact, in September. And I see that whatever I had prophesied in this is coming true. In fact, they are combusting rather spectacularly. To know more about the latest episode and a background of what AAP has been up to, I have with me a very senior journalist and TV commentator, Sri Rajesh Singh. Rajesh Singh ji, welcome to P Guru's channel.
Thank you. I just need to correct you. I'm not a TV commentator, but a print media commentator.
I stand corrected. Rajesh Singh ji is a print media commentator. I'm trying to wean him into TV. To media now, and I'm sure that all channels are taking note of how well you're doing in P Guru's channel, and you will not be surprised if once you start getting a call from ABP News or somebody else. So my question is that AAP has indulged in somewhat questionable behavior against its own chief secretary today, but they've had a history of these kinds of things in the past, haven't they?
In fact, it is because of that that I feel shocked today, but not surprised. If you recall, AAP has been having a tiff with the Delhi bureaucracy ever since they came to power roughly 3 years ago. Let me just remind you of one of the celebrated tiffs that involved Shakuntala Gamblin to begin with. Shakuntala Gamblin was appointed as acting chief secretary for a few days. Now, the moment her appointment came, the Aam Aadmi Party government raised a banner of revolt. So they abused her, they called her names in public, they accused her of having links with power distribution companies. Right? Now, Arvind Kejriwal and his government were not satisfied with just that. They actually locked the offices of the principal secretary services who had signed the order of appointing Gamblin. Now, that was one instance. Sometime later on, the Arvind Kejriwal government took on another officer, and for what? For failing to desilt nalas. They made his life miserable. They complained about him to the chief secretary, who was one Mr. Kutti then. Right? So these were two instances. Similarly, very recently they had another tiff with one more senior bureaucrat. We know how Arvind Kejriwal called Mr. Neeraj Kumar, who was then the Delhi Police Commissioner, called him names. So it's a history. And so therefore I'm not surprised that they are behaving the way they are behaving today. Whatever happened on the midnight is absolutely shocking. I mean, but what else could you expect from these people? They don't seem to have grown up. They have not transited from street level agitationists to people in governance. That is the problem. They always believe that the way to get things done is by creating drama, creating problems in the government, within the corridors of power, and on the streets. So they just don't seem to understand the art of governance yet. That is the principal problem.
Now, Parliament budget session is going to start next Monday. Now, with the disqualification of 21 MLAs, how do you see this playing out in the Parliament? Does AAP still get to nominate a few members to the Rajya Sabha? And who do you think they are going to nominate? Because I've kind of lost touch with that one. Maybe you can.
No, see, there is Parliament. There is not going to be any real difference. AAP has already nominated 3 people to the Rajya Sabha. They are already there, so that part is done with. Now, even assuming that these people get disqualified, they are already disqualified. The matter is in the court. Assuming that the court upholds their disqualification done by the Election Commission of India, then it's not going to have any impact on Parliament per se, but there will be 20 MLAs short in the Delhi Assembly, and then we have to wait and see what happens when the by-elections are held to these 20 seats. So, as far as Parliament is concerned, there isn't much that will happen, but the Assembly elections would be important in case the High Court upholds the disqualification.
So what you're saying is these three people are in until elections happen for those 21 seats. Then if AAP loses all of them or something like that, then it's going to be the adjustment in terms of representation in Rajya Sabha will come a bit later, isn't it? I mean,
That will be much later. That will be much later. They've already got 3 people in. But
yeah.
These 3 people have a 6-year term in any case.
Yeah.
So that's a done deal.
I see. And this is the last question, sir. You've been watching Parliament proceedings for a long time. What really struck me on the previous session was this continued noise making by legislators of a small group from Telugu Desam Party who were demanding justice for Andhra Pradesh. But they were making so much noise that the vice president was forced to adjourn the session every day. Now, isn't there any other way this could be tackled? Why yield the floor to just these three people?
See, there are 2 things here. One is why the Telugu Desam Party people did what they did, and 2, could they have done what they wanted? Could they have demanded what they wanted by not creating this? Why they did it is very obvious. Apparently, the Telugu Desam Party and Chandrababu Naidu are under tremendous pressure from their home constituents to show results in terms of getting packages from the center by way of a special status category. Now, they don't have anything to show, or at least that's what they have been telling people. Now, so that is one reason why they created this ruckus. Could they have avoided that? Yes, of course they could have avoided that. They could have opened channels of communication with the government, found ways and means, and sort of suggested methods to the government by which the government could have released them some funds and kept things quiet. But the Telugu Desam Party perhaps wanted a public confrontation, wanted the matter to come out in the open, wanted the pressure to be applied on the NDA. So maybe because of that they did this.
I guess we'll see how it plays out, because I'm seeing that this playbook might also be used by these 3 AAP MLAs who might do the same thing in the Parliament should something drastic happen to them in the assembly. But politics is descending to a much lower level. Rajya Sabha cannot function if people start screaming in the middle of the assembly. I mean, at what point is the vice president going to throw them out using the watch and ward staff?
I don't think that would happen, but there might be extreme cases where that may become necessary. But I do not think that the chairman of the House of the Rajya Sabha would want that option to come before him. He would preferably not want it. But Sri, returning to the behavior of the Aam Aadmi Party people towards the chief secretary, I think it's a full-blown constitutional crisis. And now we are hearing that the 3 major associations of officers in Delhi have all decided not to attend any meetings with the government of Delhi until there is an apology that comes and action is taken against the 2 MLAs who roughed up the chief secretary Anshu Prakash. So that's a very serious, development that is happening, and I do not know how it is going to play out now. It's never happened before in Delhi. I was saying that we have had several instances in the past where you had a different government in Delhi and a different government at the center, but this kind of a confrontation never happened. There were differences, but confrontations never happened. So, I get back to my old statement that this government does not know how to govern. That is the primary problem. The government cannot expect that the same government would be in power at the center as in the state. We've had in the instances in the past, Sheila Dikshit has worked with the BJP government at the center when she was the chief minister here. There were differences, but there was never a confrontation of this kind. Why is it that it's only with the Aam Aadmi Party regime that you are having a confrontation almost on a daily basis? So there is you can't. There has to be something inherently wrong in their function.
Well, I think this is a takeaway for Mr. Kejriwal. I think you need to grow up and get mature very, very quickly, or you will become a one-term minister. I mean, I predicted it based on what has happened up until now. I hope to be wrong about this, because in a thriving democracy, you want more than one party. Thank you very much for taking time and talking to us, Rajesh ji. We will again we'll get together for other discussions in the near future.